What's going on, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes are back with another superstar from the sport of mixed martial arts. Today we get to talk to 12 and 1 Anthony Romero. They call him the genius, fighting out of Ontario, Canada. He's going to be fighting in the main event on June 23rd against OAM, fellow Canadian, 10 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. You can't miss it. They're on the leader, the sports leader, for crying out loud, and it's the main event. How are you, Anthony?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Good. Let's just get it out of the way. The big elephant in the room, and then from here we'll have some fun. But
Okay.
I wouldn't say every day I wake up, but the past few days I've been waking up and I click MMA Junkie to get caught up. There's been some PED suspensions. I mean, it's really flipped the whole season upside down. Big names, smaller names. Um, Share your thoughts on this, uh, you got your stuff dialed in. I guess I might as well just ask you up front because if you think about it, I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, but Rob Wilkinson fought Thiago Santos. This is a former champion against a big free agent, and that fight almost meant nothing now if you think about it because they both tested positive.
Yeah, I guess if you want to be positive thinking, at least they were both fair to fight against each other like that. But other than that, it's very disappointing. I've mentioned it before. It's like you look up to these people, you look up to these champions, especially like myself on the rise. Like you look at them, you're like, I want to be like them. I want to take the path that they've taken. They've worked hard. They put the time into the gym. But then when you realize like the background stuff of like, oh, they did it, but they had this extra stuff. There's always that asterisk with their name and the wins that they've done. It just kind of sweeps everything away, all this success. So again, very disappointing, but it's out of my control. I control what I can, and I'm very happy that I'm taking I guess you can say the clean path to the top. So.
You came through the Challenger Series, so you weren't in Vegas. You weren't part of the testing protocol or anything like that. Have they done any additional testing because of what happened to any of the fighters fighting in Atlanta? And I guess you yourself is who I'm asking.
I believe that we'll do testing when I get there. I'm not really too sure how it works or how they adjusted things, but I'm all for it. I'm not someone who has anything to hide. Like I'll do as many as you want, as long as the sport is clean. I'm happy to do that. So.
You come in with 0 points because I guess an alternate. We'll say. What have they told you about? You're going to get this one and only chance, obviously, to get 6 points, 5 points more, whatever it takes to advance. But do you have any tiebreakers in your favor if someone who fought with two fights winds up with the same amount of fights as you? Do you win a tiebreaker, or what can you tell us about that?
That's a good question. I'm excited to hear about that to see how that would take part. But other than that, my goal is to go out there and to win the fight. And I get 6 points, great. If I get extra points, great. But to beat the champion, or I guess you could say the former champion, it's a big feather in my cap, and I'm excited to make it into a reality.
You guys being Canadians, albeit not in the same city, but you're also not opposite ends of the country. Have you ever crossed paths and trained?
We've trained, not that he would remember anything. I was a 17-year-old kid going to train at TriStar, trying to build my dream, becoming a professional fighter. And yeah, he was there. George was there. All those top guys are there. And yeah, we did like a one situation round. And other than that, I didn't even think anything of it. So yeah, not much to say about it. And that's probably why he doesn't remember me, but he will one day. So.
Now, you did go 5 minutes with him, it sounds like. One thing I've observed with OAM is he looks strong, and he's very methodical with his game plans. He goes out there and tries to win rounds, and he gets his hand raised a lot. Um, did those 5 minutes, did you learn anything? Is he as strong as he appears? What can you tell us about what you remember?
I don't. It's hard to tell, man. Like me being 17 years old. I never wrestled before, and I was just a kid with a dream and trying to do my best. So it's so many years ago. I've changed. He's changed. So it's a brand new fight for both of us. And like I said, he probably doesn't remember even seeing my face ever. So that doesn't matter to me. It's the goal that I have in mind of winning the fight, and that's what will happen on the 23rd.
Anthony, where do you think people have gone wrong that have gone up against him and failed?
That's a good question. I feel like it's kind of like a trick question to kind of. I don't know. It's he plays a very smart game. The rules of the PFL play in his favor against the guys, especially guys coming from the UFC. They're kind of taught to be entertaining and look for the big finishes and take risks. You hear Dana all the time crapping on people about not looking for the finish, just playing it safe. And I feel like OAM does that. He plays it safe to get those points and make it to the playoff and not take those big risks. Who knows what his plan is now? But I'm expecting the best guy as my opponent. So.
We've talked to OAM quite a bit here lately, and the one thing that we could say about him is he's always very well prepared. No matter what mood he's in, he puts his workout, he gets his workouts done, he does his study. But the fact that you're coming in this way, do you think in a way it can maybe play into your benefit a little bit, him not knowing very much about you?
It can. I always say like I don't expect outside things to play in my favor. Like I don't expect things to happen out of my control for me to win. I'm going in there preparing, like I said, to fight the best OAM. And I'd rather it be that way than fight him and then after he's like, oh, I had a rib injury or wrist, whatever excuse there is. I'd want the best guy so that when I beat him, I feel like now I'm the best guy, right?
I went back and looked at your record, more specifically the finishes. Two ended in round one ended in round two. Do you remember the situations at that time? Was the opening just there, or was that the plan? Was to come out and you backed it up, like because that's kind of what you need here. And here's another thing. Maybe it's a two-part question. You're the last guy, so by the time you fight, now I don't know how honed in you'll be, but you probably will have enough intel to know what you need exactly, as you walk out there. So have you thought about that? Have you gone over that with your coaches? Is there maybe two game plans out there?
I think for myself, like I said, the goal is to win, regardless of what outside situations there are for other guys. I love to play my style, and yeah, if I have to go out there and get the 6 points and give everything I got, then I'll do my best. Like a lot of people are like, oh, you don't have much to lose. Like, yeah, I don't, but I love to win. That's the problem is I don't want to go out there and just try and then fail. Like I want to go out there and give everything I got, put my heart into this game, and I'm not going there to just allow him to go to the playoffs and he's just fighting this nobody. Like I'm somebody. I've been in this game for a while, and like I said, 6 points is great, but the win is sweet for me. So.
Well, but it would be bittersweet if you won, but only got 3 points and didn't qualify. I think you also want to get to those playoffs, right?
Oh, of course, but
Yeah.
there's no point of risking everything. And then he's a smart guy. He's no slouch.
True.
Like you said, he prepares
Yeah.
every fight, and that's why he's the champion. So I can't go play around and think that he's just gonna fall over in front of me, right? So.
What do you think of? I brought this up to another fighter. It may have even been OAM or someone else. Do you follow the sport pretty close for the last few years? It sounds like it.
Yes, yeah.
Remember Fabricio Verdum would do that kung fu flying kick to start
Yeah,
his fights.
yeah,
We
yeah.
all know about the Masvidal knee. Even McGregor, when he fought Cerrone, he kind of came out real casual and then threw a big right hand from hell. Would you call that reckless, or would you call that maybe smart? Maybe catching someone who's just not in the flow yet off guard.
Yeah, that's definitely an option. Like I said, I could do that. I could play it smart, and my nickname is a genius, right? So I take the smart approach when I fight. So when I see openings, I take advantage of it, and it will happen on the 23rd. So regardless if it's the first round, second round, third round, or decision, I will take advantage of those openings.
How'd you get the nickname the genius?
It just comes from my old fight style, or my fight style. Just I think the smart approach, even training as well. Like a lot of guys, they burn themselves out just in the gym, and then once they get to the fight, they kind of fall apart, or they go in with an injury, that kind of thing. So it's because I take the smart approach. Other than that, it's all fun for me. So
You want to hear
When
something
you
funny?
of
So
course,
when I found out you were the genius, I've been looking at your background, trying to see if I could see like a valedictorian thing, or
yeah.
some kind of cap, or some crazy degree. I do see some trophies back there though, and one of them I can tell has something to do with martial arts. What are those trophies you have up on top?
Those ones are probably all dusty and stuff, but those are from when I competed in Taekwondo. When I was younger, I competed in Taekwondo around 5 years old, all the way until 11. So that was more like my first martial arts. I did graduate university. I got my degree in recreation and leisure. So I guess you can't say I'm not all that bad in academics. So I did that stuff, and I think the nickname comes from more of the fighting and that kind of thing. Not so much the outside stuff.
Were you familiar with the WWE, or back, I guess, WWF back then, the wrestler, the Genius?
I've heard of him. Yeah, people have asked me if that's why, and I'm like, I don't know enough about him, but I've definitely heard about him. So,
He used to come out with like a cap and gown and a little thing. Dude, if you
oh,
can
no.
somehow incorporate something like that into your walkouts, that'd be legit.
Yeah, maybe we'll see.
Hey, Anthony, this is a small sport. Don't let us find out that you were goofing off in practice and your coach said, okay, genius. And
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
it's stuck that way. Was it really from a lot of game planning and just having a high fighter IQ?
yeah. Like when I was younger, I would jump in. Like I was kind of pushed into the adult class because I didn't really have, I guess, competition in the kids class. So they put
Hmm.
me in the adult class, and I was kind of doing these new approaches to concepts and kind of doing stuff that my coach at the time didn't really teach me.
Hmm.
And I think that's kind of where it stemmed from. So
Okay. Tell me about El Salvador. How popular are you back there?
that's a good question. My dad says I'm very popular, but that's my dad. So I
Hmm.
have lots of family over there, a lot of people, a lot of support. They love to have someone being able to represent them, and I'm very happy to have them on my side. And of course, I just love them represent my father as well, from all the hard work he's put in over the years. He served in the military over there when he was younger. So it's a very special country that's dear to my heart, and every time I go over there, it's a very special place to me. So yeah, I'm glad to have their support.
So will they have a fight party on June 23rd? Because this is on big ESPN, and I'm sure that channel is accessible all over the planet. What's it going to be like in Salvador for the Romero family?
Oh, of course, they're gonna have their own thing. A bunch of different parties everywhere because the way things are over there, it's difficult to go from city to city. But yeah, they'll definitely have their little parties, and they'll have definitely a good time and a big celebration after.
When did your dad serve? What years? Do you remember?
It's a good question. He is 59 now, so it was when he was around 13, 14. And then until like 17 years old, he immigrated to the United States. So,
Okay. When Goz and I went to Afghanistan on a morale visit, we saw soldiers, well, I should say military personnel from all countries. And I remember El Salvador was well represented. I mean, not to think,
Mhm.
oh, could that have been your dad? I'm just saying,
oh
I'm
yeah.
curious because um, a lot of countries were there, obviously, backing up the United States or part of treaties with the United States on the Bagram base in Afghanistan. So it was pretty cool. I actually chatted with some of them, and they were really cool guys.
Oh, cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You'll meet some neat people. So,
Hmm. Well, listen, hey, it was really nice to meet you, and we wish you the best of luck with the camp you have left. What do you have, about 3 weeks maybe? And then you
yes.
got to get that weight cut in, and then you got OAM. This could be a big statement for you with him being last year's champ. Especially if you can get that finish, make the playoffs. I mean, you'll definitely be on the map there. But so far, you're taking care of business, man. 12-1, very impressive.
Thank you so much. Starting from the bottom, and I'll get there. So,
Hmm.
very excited. And this, like I said, it's a big opportunity. People are like, "Oh, how do you feel about having the champion first?" And it's a great start because I'm supposed to fight anyone in that top 11, and I've been prepared over the years. So I'm glad it's OAM.
Yeah. One last question. ¿Hablas español?
Sí, yo puedo hablar. Yeah.
Ah, good. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's tremendous. I'm hearing about PFL in Africa with Francis Ngannou being part of your promotion now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I've wondered what PFL is going to do in Latin America, and what the growth is going to be like there. Have you heard anything?
I haven't, but the potential with the company is huge. Like they're doing big moves, and I'm very excited to be a part of it. Like I said, I've always pushed these other promotions and stuff like that, but PFL has always been great to me. Like they always took care of me when I was there for the Challenger Series, and I feel very respected as a fighter. So I'm glad that it's with PFL.
Nice. All right. Have a nice day. We'll be watching you on the 23rd on ESPN, 10 p.m. Eastern, folks. Check it out. Anthony Romero against Olivier Aubin-Mercier.